welcome to another Cities with John episode. I am thrilled to have you along for the ride today as we take a look at the Lower Canals District from episode 1. Hope you enjoyed that first episode, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in and watching my channel, supporting me. And I've said it before, I'm not trying to become a millionaire from making Cities with John episodes, but I do appreciate people subscribing and liking my channel and tuning in. And the more people like it and subscribe, the more motivated I am to make videos. And when you play this game and you're creating content, it kind of changes things up. A lot of times you're wanting to continue on making the city, and you realize, hey, I've got 4 hours of footage that I've got to edit and get down to something that's presentable to my audience. And it definitely changes things, but I enjoy making the videos. I enjoy video editing and just kind of having fun with this video editing program that I have. And I do have a degree in electronic media, as I've said before, so I kind of have a background in video editing. So I really do enjoy making the videos, but like I said, it does change things up and makes things a little bit different when you're actually playing the game to gather up footage and make a good show. So that being said, the first episode was putting together that Lower Canals District. I had about 3.5 hours of footage that I had to cut down, and had to end up doing a little bit on a time lapse. And normally I don't do the super fast time lapse because I like to allow my viewer to kind of see what I'm doing. I seem to get a few questions here or there in my comments, and always leave a comment if you have any suggestions or questions of what I'm doing or anything like that. I'll be glad to respond to them because I've been playing this game for quite a long time, and it's easier for me than it is for others to throw a city together. So yeah, leave a comment if you'd like. The theme of today's show, I don't know if there's really a theme, but I'm going to be adding some necessary expansion to this section of the map. The road that I'm working on now is going to connect over with the boulevard that comes across the map and is parallel with the canals. It connects with the tram track, and you probably noticed if you watched the video of my tram and train station combination, train station combination. If you watched that video, you might have noticed there's a big oval on the map where I've kind of connected the tram to make the tram work. I'm not going to be keeping that in the map. It's just more or less to be is there to kind of keep things moving with the tram for now. But that will change, and soon I will be using the Metro Overhaul mod to do some additional transportation. But I need to take a second to connect all this and get it right, because what we are going to do with the area that is on the other side of the tracks, so to speak, from the lower canals, is going to be mostly industrial and some office buildings and things like that. So I'm wanting to definitely get that done. So this area here underneath the interstate, we're going to kind of, like I said, add some industrial stuff, but we're also going to do some necessities. And one necessity on the game in general is water. You have to have water. And yes, I do play this game as in the design method of playing the game. So I don't keep all the vanilla aspects on. I don't have to worry about buildings burning down and things like that. But there are some things that I still do keep on, and a couple of them are healthcare, water, electricity, stuff like that. So I do actually have water running. I don't have any sort of mods for that. I have my water running like you would if you're playing vanilla. And the reason I do that is mostly because I do kind of like some of the aspects of the vanilla game. Actually, I do miss some of the aspects of the vanilla game, and not always being able to have unlimited funds and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, I kept water on, I kept the healthcare on, although the healthcare can be a little annoying with the amount of people that seem to just die in my town every second. And it kind of will spurt the growth of the town. And after I get through this episode and move on to the next part where I actually start expanding some buildings and things like that, I want to take a look at how my population looks, because we haven't had much of a jump with all the residential areas that I added there in the middle of the lower canals. There's a ton of residential there, and not every one of those buildings houses a bunch of people, but I'm not getting the population jump thus far that I was expecting to get. And so that's something that I'm going to kind of look into, because I want the population to go up, because I want the congestion and the hectic look to my traffic and grids and things, and I want a reason that I'm putting all these major cut-throughs and expansions and roads everywhere and all that. And we've been hovering around the 40,000 to 45,000 mark for a while. We just kind of keep going back and forth. So hopefully after this episode we will be able to see a little bit of a jump in that. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely do a little research on it and try to figure out exactly what I need to do. Ooh, little glitchy road intersection here. Let's see if we can kind of get that fixed. So what we're working on is we're gonna have a water company over here, kind of a old school a water refinery area to clean the water, a basin and things of that nature. And then we're also going to use a really cool old looking building asset that I have, and we're going to make that the actual water company headquarters, do some good detailing around that, and then that way we have more water for this portion of the map. I do have a pretty good water flow coming into the city. Obviously there's lots of canals and water everywhere, so there's no lack of water sources by any means, but I do have a lot of water coming in, and this is just a refinery, so it's going to be a way for me to keep the water clean over here, because there is a lot of industrial zones kind of mixed in throughout this. And on a future episode we're going to be putting in a lot of industry over this way, so I'm trying to get ahead of that. I don't really want to have too much pollution, and I don't want people to be dying even more than they already are, which they are quite a bit. So that being said, if you look at a lot of cities, you have these larger water company type buildings, and I know here in my hometown the water company is a very old building. It's actually a historical building. It's on the National Register. It's like a registered historical place. So that was kind of my idea, my kind of thinking, and of course I'm using a building that is not necessarily made for that. One thing that I always suggest when you're making a city is don't look at buildings as what they are, just look at them as what they could be. You can turn any building into anything you want it to be with the right props and things like that. This building here that I chose is part of the Kansas City set, and here I go again. The creator of these, I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head, but if you look up Kansas City on the workshop, you're going to find all of his or her work. It's just unbelievably great buildings, great detail, things like that. They look fantastic, and I think they really work well for this portion of the map. Keep in mind that the idea is the Lower Canals District is an older district. It's an older part of town. It's working class people who would prefer to work over going and seeking higher education, which is just fine. But they're going to need a lot of industrial and a lot of businesses to work at, and that's kind of what we are beginning to lay the groundwork for on today's episode. So here I'm just kind of putting in a parking lot number 5,000 that I feel like I've built in my city's life. And of course, parking lots are always fun. Excuse me. Parking lots are always fun to make, and I really do enjoy kind of getting them right. So what we're going to do now is a little bit of detailing and kind of make this little back area. This is a large employer, so there's going to be a lot of people working here, and we need to kind of add some details and some places for those employees to hang out when they are not on the time clock. So we've got everything kind of set up here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a few little smaller. Let's see, we have a few little smaller. Tell you what, let me go in here. We'll kind of add a few little smaller buildings out here to the front, like maybe some little carport type places for the company vehicles to park. So yeah, with all this interstate and everything going on, this is a hectic area. But so far so good. I think nothing's really came across as too congested or unrealistic. I mean, it's going to be a tough challenge here on out. Anywhere we build is going to be either on a slope, or it's going to be in a place where we're always going to have to pay attention to the roads that are around it. And we're getting a little bit of glitching with these. Putting these nodes all this close is going to cause some issues. We might just take out this brick road. And let's just take that one out. We'll just kind of expand this. Oh, that's also, well. Surprised we can't get that brick road to really work. Okay, didn't really mean to do that. Now we got it. Now we're already falling apart, people. 14 minutes in, mark it down. We are losing control of this thing already. Oh, that looks not good at all. Ha! Oh, one bad junction after another. Let's see if we can wiggle this, and then, oh my goodness. All right, I'll take all that out. Let's just do a different road. Well, I think it's just that brick road. It's just giving me some fits. We'll just keep the brick road here in front of the actual basin. And then we'll just do this road here. I love these little roads with the bushes just kind of like lined up on them. They look really good. All right, let's try this again here. Let's connect it there and connect it underneath. See what I was saying? It's a little bit more difficult when you're having to squeeze under everything. Okay, that looks good. I like that. Let's kind of do a little messing with the network skins here. Take out a few of those trees. We don't want too many trees right in front of the business there. I'm going to pull this intersection back out. Come on, nodes. Bear with me. There we go. Alright, that's good. Like that. Alright, so I'm going to do a quick little time-lapse intermission, just a couple of minutes. We're going to detail this area up a little bit, and then I'll get back with you and we will move on to the last part of today's episode, an underground pedestrian walkway. So stick around, I'm going to crank up some tunes by my man Nate and enjoy the time lapse. Alright, so there's the finished product. Nice little area for the employees here to enjoy. And now we're going to move on to this underground pedestrian walkway. So the reason that I am putting this together is basically I noticed that my people are walking all the way down to the very end of this road where it connects with basically where it connects with the strip. And then they're crossing over and walking back to the train station. So they're literally going, 200, 300 yards away to make it to a place that's kind of like across the street. So I saw that and I thought, well, this would be a great place to have a pedestrian bridge. But instead of doing the bridge, the bridge was a little bit more challenging to accomplish. And if you take a look here, I did attempt to make a crossover, and it didn't exactly work. And it would have worked, but I think that it's a failed attempt to go into the tunnel there. But it would have worked, but there's power lines, there's railroads, there's grids, and then on top of that, you've got to find a way to get the entrance and exit to look realistic using staircases and things like that. And although I do have procedural objects mod, I didn't really feel like spending an entire hour or more than that trying to get the staircase to work exactly the way I wanted to. So I decided not to go that route. I decided to go with this underground route, and I still had to do a few little things to make it look right, adding some staircases underneath, and then these little shell looking tunnels that are kind of cool looking. Might kind of make a neat little appearance. to the entrance, and I think kind of add a little bit of a pizzazz to it. Pedestrian walkways and things like that need to have some sort of entrance and exit, and that's a little bit more I don't know the exact word for it, a little bit more fancy, but here I am using procedure objectives. So if you're unfamiliar with this mod, it took me a while to finally download it. I heard some good things about it, but the best thing about this, lots of good things about this mod, but one of the best things is you can take basically any prop and expand it. You can add to it, you can customize the text, do lots of things. So you can angle it too. So like I just did with the roof that comes over that entrance, you can angle your props, you can angle props. You can just about do a number of things, and you can add custom using like Photoshop or things, something like that. You can actually make custom signs. So lots of possibilities. Here I'm just creating some text to make like a little sign that shows people to get their tickets, to walk to the left to get your tickets, and then to the right, that's going to be how you can enter the platform from the tunnel. And just little tiny details that can go a long way to make things seem a little bit more real. I'm all about it, and I'm really enjoying using this mod. It is absolutely fantastic. Definitely a good choice to get it. Alright, so we already have people using this tunnel, a lot of people using this tunnel. It looks fantastic, added some detail around it. Love it, absolutely love it. People are just zooming in and out of there, making their way over to the train, and it's basically cut down on all the people taking the sidewalk all the way down. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I really enjoyed making that tunnel. It's proved to work out really well. Worked wonders for my people. Like I said, I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. We'll be moving on to episode 3, where we're going to be building on some industrial stuff over on this side of the map, and I'm looking forward to it. As always, thanks for coming along for the ride. We'll see you next time for Cities with John. Bye-bye.